Awesome. So we're going to get started here. This may be, at least for my tenure here, kind of our first only members only. I'm sure, you know, there might be a few folks that sneak in, but the idea here was really just to get some folks together like yourselves who are current customers, who are already users of the site, and talk about some of these features and hopefully give you a leg up in using them. And also, since you're already subscribers to our product, we will avoid those kinds of questions like, can I have IDX listings on my site, and those sorts of things, which are great questions in the right context. But for you, you already know the answer to those questions. We're trying to get you, up and rolling with some of these new features and new capabilities, and that's really what we want to show off today. So, so basically, what I have here is this is the success team. So this is Chris McHale, who's a customer success manager. Lots of you have spoken to him. He runs our 11 a.m. Mountain Time sessions many days. Myself, I've certainly talked to a lot of you on your way in the door or one way or another here at EasyAgentPro, as well as Chris Tenarowitz, who's also here with us and is honestly was the guy who showed me around our product when I first started here a couple of years ago. So lots of you have spoken with him and worked with him, and he is an old hand in these parts. So we're just going to jump in. Really what we want to do is talk about some new functionality, show off some new features. I'm going to talk a little bit about the roadmap, and then we're going to go into a Q&A. And so if you have questions along the way, we got folks in chat. You can certainly ask us those questions. We're going to cover this, somewhat quickly, but also with, kind of give you a little bit of overview how you can engage with some of these new features. If I were just to back up for a second, I would say, the last few months we've been busy, and lots of you know Tyler's Eye. Tyler and Robert really started this company, and Tyler has transformed himself from sort of the marketing face to the development machine here. And so a lot of what we've got going on are features that he and Robert have conceived and really birthed here most recently. So what I really want to show you to start with here is, we're going to kind of take turns and show off some of this functionality, but we're on the demo site here, and I really want to just show you the easy CMA functionality sort of from both sides. And there is some irony here. I'm just going to admit it right up front. We run a Facebook group called Beat Zillow, and that's sort of our goal is to help agents, not just Zillow, but sort of that archetype of big corporate machines that are in the real estate space trying to figure out how to get some of your hard-earned cash. And, we really believe in the independent agent. We think that people are ultimately the only thing that sells houses. And so we want to see you be successful. That said, there's some actual Zillow functionality in our demo today. That's one of the options here. So we're putting that in as we go here. So we're on the apps page of a demo site here. We're under SEO and content. Easy CMA is right here. So we got Easy CMA up. I've got the link to header leads is currently linked to that. And so I just clicked it, and that gets me to here. So just hopefully that orients everybody. Real quick, while we're here, if you see this green bar when you're working in your site, your visitors will not see this menu. This is just for you, and it's convenience. You've got access to help. This is the direct access to the dashboard, and this is the apps page. And this, whatever's floating down here, is actually direct access to whatever content you're on. And so just so you're oriented there, if we wanted to jump straight into the Easy CMA application, you can just click this and we'll go straight there. So for starters, I'm just going to sort of show you how this works. Start out with an ask for, how about an address? That's even better. So yeah, I'll put I live in Durango, and so I happen to know some addresses around there. So I'll stick in a personalized. And you can see what we're doing here is just kind of breaking this down and walking people through so they don't see a form with 800 fields on it. How many bedrooms? 3. And lastly, so from there, we're actually, we have an option here. So all of the information has been collected. So let's go back over and just check me out in the dashboard here. And Actually, I'll just go to leads, and we should see me under leads here. You can see that I am signed up. You can see that this is the address that I provided. You can also see kind of what I did here. You can see all of the information that I provided right here is all here. In most cases, this is going to flow over as notes into your CRM as well. But you can see exactly where I came from and what I did on the site. So that's kind of your side of seeing it. We basically pull the Zen estimate directly in here, and you've got that. The last piece, and so just before we jump into kind of the app and some of the options there, the last piece that I want to show you is that from here, you can also, I'm going to show you how to turn this Zen estimate on and off. If you want to use the old functionality where we just collect the information, we can certainly do that. But we also have another option here, which is to request a CMA. And so this actually requests a CMA from House Canary. And they do cost $15 per report. They pull a pretty detailed report from the IDX, and we'll take a look at that as we open it up here. But this is basically, this enables you to do this without an ongoing subscription. You can do, a few of these. So let's just say that you check this out and you're like, wow, this looks like a legit lead. Let me give this guy a call. Yeah, he actually does want this. You may consider coming in and actually requesting a CMA and sending him a report this way. Which is going to be a split between completely doing all the work yourself and giving them something like a Zen estimate that doesn't really do anything for them from a information perspective. So that's that. If we look at the example report here, this is what you would get from House Canary. So you got a nice map at the top. This is a report that obviously you can share with the client or download. You can edit the comments and you have some information there. Kind of a forecast for the zip code, the details of the property all coming out of tax records, similar listings and average sale price history. So you can pull this information, see where it's coming from, sold and active comparables. Ideally, obviously, going in and being able to do this yourself is a great thing, but the idea behind House Canary is it really helps you not have to do that, and then you can very quickly provide something to your customer that's going to be probably more accurate than a Zen estimate, but not as time-consuming and laborious as you doing it yourself. So this is basically the report. If I were to click this and say, yep, I want to be charged and I want to send it, that's what I'd get access to. So,
and I do also want to note really quick, Grant.
Sure.
That report is completely interactive. So all that data, like all those are sliders. A client presented with that report, it's a really impressive, piece of work on the screen as well. So that's just a static screenshot that he was showing. But the all those sliders can be manipulated. You can see data going back even farther. It's a really, really cool tool.
So I have the opportunity to sort of grade my own house whether it's in great condition or poor condition or whatever the case is. Yeah. So. Awesome. That's a great thing. One of the things that we're always about is really generating leads and generating important conversations between you and a client. And so I think this is still a great opportunity. Even with a report like that, I would still reach out and have that conversation to understand, what the client needs, perhaps help them understand or discuss the, nature of the neighborhood, what other things might be important to them, and as it relates to value. So
that, and I'm going to chime in too. I mean, the best way to treat it is it's like a Carfax for your house, right? So, when you're working and you're checking the value of these people's properties, House Canary is really, really smart and intuitive, exactly like Chris said, where you can adjust all of the specifics about the property and get a really, really detailed report versus something that might be 30% over like Zillow or something around there as well.
Right, absolutely. So that's a great segue though, because we do provide this immediate value because people do ask for it sometimes, right? So that's something that that agents want, or people are just like, dang it, like I feel like you asked for my information, you didn't give me anything. So that's an important piece. So let's just jump into the app here, and I really want to take you through what we can do with this and what your options are. Let's just dive into templates. And so you can see here there's a bunch of different options. You can choose any of these. This is not affecting functionality. This is just what you think is interesting, if that makes sense. So you can choose any of these templates, drop any of them on here, and you are good to go. And you've got some segmentation here. If you just want to see light templates, then you can kill all the dark ones, and that'll help you kind of sort out what you've got there. You can, make a change, use this template, and then view my page and have an opportunity to see what you've set up. So let's just try that. Change the template. Successfully updated your template. View my page. Pops a new option, and there we go. So obviously, from the template here, you can see I have a different main site image, so that's why I'm seeing something different here. And I have a different main site color, which is why the button color is a little different. So don't worry, from the templates here, it's not going to overlay any of your site settings or overwrite them. It's going to overlay them rather. So that's kind of that piece. You can play around with the templates, and obviously you can choose as many as you want and just see which one looks great or which one is the best for your application. And then settings is really where we have the meat and potatoes here. So we have the main title. What is your home worth? I've got direct access to that right here. So home, house. If you want to talk about one in a particular area, you have all of those options. Subtitle is going to be the text right here. Button text, call to action, an image. Obviously, default image is going to be easy. While we're here, let me just show you a super cool thing. If you go into any of our image choosers, you go into the upload file, you see this Pixabay images. This is actually, I don't know about you, I've certainly had lots of trouble at times finding an image for a particular use. And here we have an awesome way you can go and get royalty-free stock images right out of the back of your LeadSite. So if you're interested in, that's kind of cool. Probably what's going to be best is something that goes horizontal here. But we can basically choose any of these pictures and say, boom. Pull that in, say I want to use that one. And now there's my new image. So, so you've got access to all of the text here, can be edited. Here's the automated reporting. If you want the Zen estimate on or off, that's right here. Obviously, if you turn it off, your message is gonna be that we've received this and we'll be in touch. Otherwise, if you leave it on, then it's gonna attempt to pull in a value. So we could hit save there. Legal settings, sometimes people ask about these. Terms of use, privacy policy, if any of these things come up, you can actually make your own privacy policy. We make one available to you. That's an option that you've got. SEO settings, you want the SEO title and SEO meta description, they're both here. Paths, when we capture a lead in Easy CMA, where do you want them to go? So this is, you're probably familiar with this. You can just go over and select this to turn it on, and then the lead is going to go down that path. So that is, that's kind of that app in a nutshell. So, so to that end, I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to Mr. Tenarowitz, who is going to take us through another feature. And if you have had an opportunity to work with Chris, you know that he is Mr. Super, helpful support guy. I think he started doing support when we literally had, back in the early days, and has
I like to call him the Grandmaster Yoda of support.
Grandmaster Yoda.
He taught me as well. So, and I've been here for just shy of 2 years now. So he's one good smart cookie when it comes to this stuff.
In EasyAgentPro support, the person that you ask is Chris Tenarowitz. So
you are all too kind.
All right, take it away, Chris.
Okay, great. So I just want to make sure you guys can see my browser window here without issue.
I can see you. I think we're good.
Okay,
I'll watch the chat here and make sure we're good.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. So thank you very much, Grant and Chris. I want to talk to you guys about a functionality that we've recently expanded on your site. If you've been with us for some time, you've known that we've had an app called Texty. For a little bit now. We introduced that as a way to kind of fill in the gap. Some CRMs do offer a text lead notification service or, the ability to reach out to folks via text. but we really wanted to fold that into your service, you know, and kind of provide something like that as just part of your normal monthly fees. So we introduced Texty probably over 2 years ago, and I'm in the apps section here, and I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down to it here. So recently with Texty, we've added a little bit more to that. So what we've done is we've added something called Texty codes, and I think this is super cool. Tyler was really stoked about it when we first launched it, and still is. What's really cool about Texty codes is, you know, unlike Squeeze, you know, Lead Lock, all the other lead capture that's on the site, kind of moves lead capture and the ability to, you know, connect with folks out of the web space, out of Facebook ads, Google ads, and, you know, into print, you know, into, you know, you guys might send postcards, you might flyer, you might have lawn signs, you know, that kind of thing. So it kind of lets you engage with folks and direct them to your site from those kind of physical sources. So let's get right into it. So Texty codes is found within your Texty app. So you can see I'm right here, and then we have all our other normal Texty settings, but Texty codes is going to come up first here. So just kind of read through it here. You know, create a new Texty code below. Now you can get leads via text messages with Texty codes. The way it works, create a Texty code. You can basically have it be anything that you want, and this is the code that folks will then text to you on a predetermined number in order to receive whatever offer you have. So you know, if you're operating in the Atlanta area and, you know, you're sending out postcards to an area that you're farming and you're looking for sellers, you might be trying to direct those folks, you know, to your website to get a home valuation. So you can capture their lead and also, you know, engage with them a little bit. So in this
and use that easy CMA tool, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to dovetail nicely with what Grant was just talking about. So you know, for example here, you know, say I was sending out postcards and I wanted to include a Texty code on it. I might do Atlanta home value as my Texty code. Let's see if we can get it. Boom. Okay, perfect. And Texty codes, of course, we definitely recommend you kind of claiming yours as soon as possible because they are unique for all of the users of our user base. So if you're also operating in the Georgia area and somebody already has Atlanta home value as a Texty code, you're not going to be able to claim it unless they, you know, delete it or stop using it. So just one thing to keep in mind when you're setting up your site or, you know, kind of kicking into things this afternoon. So cool. So for example here, you're going to see that once I claim that code, it's going to kind of set up the next part of the prompt for me. And at the base subscription price, so that the standard $159 a month package, you get one Texty code to use. At the LeadSites Plus package, you get more than that. So we're just working with one here. So you're going to see it's pretty plainly explained here. When a user texts Atlanta home value to this number, they will receive this message. So we can pop in whatever we want here. Say, you know, hey, thanks for reaching out. For your home valuation, head to this link. And then we're actually just going to go ahead and include the direct link to the CMA page that Grant was just talking about there. So pop that in there as a link. And then we're just going to go ahead and click save. Now, what's really cool about this is that if somebody texts this code to this number, they will receive this text message back automatically. And also, you will receive a new lead that will be recorded in your lead section as just that cell phone number. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do this right now from my phone.
So as Chris goes through that, I'll just take this opportunity to say some of you may either have Plus sites or be aware that we offer two different pricing programs. This is one of the places that we split that pricing. So if you have a Pro site, which is $159 a month, then you have one Texty code that you can claim. If you have a Plus site, you have 20 Texty codes that you can claim. So, for instance, if you have a lot of listings and you want to claim a code per listing, then Plus is this is an attractive feature that you might want to consider there.
Right. Yeah, and that's a really good point. So, you know, if you're just operating, you know, like if you're not, you know, directing to specific listings, you can really just kind of recycle this one code. So you could do a valuation campaign for a little bit, delete the code, add a new one. do a different kind of campaign. But if you are, for example, you could also have these, on lawn signs too. So, if you had 5 or 6 listings and you wanted someone to get more information on those particular listings, a really easy way to use texty codes would be, so, hey, text, maybe it's just 123 Main Street to this number. And then you could just respond back with the actual listing page on your lead site. So those folks would be directed into your lead site. They would be on the site in your ecosystem. You get their cell phone number as a new lead. Due to the nature of the lead capture, of course, there's not a name attached to it yet, but you're still getting these good, valuable phone numbers. So there's a great place to start that way in engaging leads in this manner on your actual website. So just to answer a question or two that you guys probably have already. So right now, you're going to see that 888-444-0895. That's going to be the number for everybody. Perhaps in the future, we can add or, adjust this so that it would be like, hey, text 123 Main Street to, 40404. But right now, that will be the number that everybody uses for this particular feature on the site. So texty codes are super cool. I had someone in the office hours section, but they just used it for an open house. It was kind of like they used it as like an open house sign-in almost. There was just like a sign when folks came in. It just said, hey, welcome, text 123 main open to this number to sign in, and for your, kind of guide, basically. And what the text message sent back was a link to their lead site that just had, basically some facts about the listing. So they had it on their smartphone. They were walking around the house. The agent had their cell phone number. It was just a really cool instance of using it. And I thought that was a really clever way to do it. So texty codes, definitely unlimited in terms of what you can use them for. So there's a lot of different ways to drive traffic to your site this way. And it all kind of starts outside of the website, kind of in the physical space. So I think we're going to turn it over to Chris McHale now, who's going to talk about another really fantastic resource that we've recently added, kind of expanded upon in the same way to Texty. We're always adding and improving our applications that we have available to you guys. So here is the next one.
All right, everybody. So my name's Chris McHale. I've been with the company for a little under 2 years now. I'm sure you've heard me I'm the voice of the podcast. I've been a support agent. I've been in this management role for a little bit now as well. I've been Chris's and Grant's underling for a while, and I'm really excited to show you guys this. So it's really cool. So let me get my screen share set up here. And the big thing that I want to show you today is the Social Share app. Now, this app was existing even when I came in, but it was very, very limited in its use. It basically allowed you to share your content on social media accounts. So, my girlfriend's the boss in the relationship. If I was actively looking for a house on your site, I could quickly and efficiently, grab that listing and share it over Facebook on my wall or Messenger and have her make the decision for me. So it's a really cool tool. But since then, we've done some really wild stuff with it. It is found in the apps section, just like all the other apps that we've kind of homed in on today. This one is the Social Share with the little bubbles. And the cool thing that I wanted to show you folks, the first one right away is the social posting section. This is kind of the new, more robust feature that we've added. We do the best way that I always like to tell my clients is that your website is the tree trunk of your tree. Your social media accounts are the branches, and the content on your website are the leaves that get sent out everywhere. Without all three of these things working in conjunction with each other, it's very difficult to get some type of brand recognition or get some type of footing in the door for your actual website. One of the big steps to making sure that you're SEO friendly, and one of the big steps to make sure that people are visually seeing what you're posting, is obviously blog content, custom pages, custom searches, things like that. And you can share them on all your social media accounts. My favorite's obviously Facebook to share stuff on. I think it's probably one of the most influential areas, with other social media accounts, closely following behind. The cool thing about auto posting is we get that time is money for you guys. We understand that you don't have time to individually post to each social media account. So we've brought it all together where it's a simple thing of scheduling your queued up posts and having them auto post onto your social media account of choice. The really nice thing about this is that, like I said, it allows you to save some time. You're supposed to be out there selling houses or helping a purchase go through, not you know, connecting blog posts to your social media accounts. If you notice on the social share section here, we do have a queued up box. And these are all of the posts that are in line, ready to post out to whatever social media account that I've used. The nice thing about this is we do give you 2 free blog posts a week, and they will pop up on your suggested section along with some other stuff like, you know, the Easy CMA tool, for instance. Anytime you create a short-coded market of a specified group of listings, properties with pools in the summer, if it's near a sporting event or whatever, you could share that out. You could share a search bar out, whatever you wanted to do. You could find them in your suggested, or you can create a new post and copy and paste the data that you want, and it will appear in your queue. The cool thing about the queue is that you can kind of move them around similar to like how the menu works, the header menu, and you can slide it and adjust which post you want sharing next in line. The nice thing about it is you can also schedule the posts. So the way that this works is you can adjust what time during each day you want the posts to appear. This is really cool because, I mean, we all know that on the weekends, there's more eyes on their social media accounts. So that's maybe when you'd want to post. On Fridays, it might be beneficial in your area to post at 5 p.m. when people are off of work. They finally winded down. They had their 5:30 beer, and they're checking out their social media accounts. This is when you'd want that post to pop out. On Mondays, you know, they get into the office, they still have the Monday blues, and they want that last minute of freedom before they go to work. You could have it post earlier in the morning on Mondays. Now, like Grant said, with the Texty codes, where you have 1 Texty code per account, the Pro package does allow you to get up to 10 posts a day. The regular account system just allows you to do 1 post per day. And you can always adjust that if you want to. So the scheduling is pretty simplistic. You'll just, you know, hide it. You'll click the actual day, and then you can adjust anything that you want, which is really, really cool. The settings are pretty self-explanatory as well. You will want to connect with whatever account that you wanted to use for the auto posting. In this case, it would be Facebook. I would click it, and it would be just a simple thing of connecting with Facebook. And at that point, once your EAP site and this application and your social media account are talking, the post will go through and automatically add to your site for you.
Chris, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to point out to everybody. So Facebook had some hacking issues late last week. You might have noticed that you may have had to re-log into your Facebook account again. So I would recommend everybody go to this section if you already have social posting set up and disconnect it and reconnect it to reauthorize. So if you've noticed that,
I love it.
Yeah, if you've noticed that you haven't seen a post, you know, go out maybe yesterday or on Monday, the reason is because it has to be re-authenticated. So just something to keep in mind. Sorry, thank you.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I was unaware of that. I'm one of the people who didn't have to re-log in, I suppose. Yeah, so it's really cool. You just pick the Facebook account that you want, or the Twitter account or LinkedIn account that you want to use to auto post these out, and you can set it up by 2 clicks, and you're good to go, which is really, really great. The IDX settings, this is what was really cool. Unfortunately, because this is the demo account, it's really difficult for me. I can't build an actual short code out. But the nice thing is once you build the code out, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with how to do that. If not, hit that help button and we'll give you some documentation on how to do it and show you. We have classes in the education section as well about it. Basically, the nice thing is if you, like I said, if you know that a big one right now, obviously football is in season, right? If you wanted to post something really quirky on your Facebook post about, you know, how lackluster the entertainment space is in your property for the big game, and you're looking for you know, houses with finished basements, you could create that market, copy it here, and then move over to your social post and paste it in. And then you've got yourself a brand new group of listings with finished basements for people who are football fans on your page. So that, you know, the possibilities are endless. You can even do a search bar if you wanted to with this. There's all sorts of really great stuff that's doable with these market selectors. I personally love them. I think they're great to use. It's very similar to the same way that you can have properties appear on your homepage. You just build the short code. At this point in time, you'd be able to build it, but again, it is a demo account, so it's not going to really pull up anything for me. I'd be able to select my oops, not featured, I'm sorry, my market. I'd select the market, and then at that point I could post it onto the auto poster, which is super rad. You can turn lead lock on or off. I'm a personal fan of turning it off. I think that the best way to get to a potential lead's heart is by being a resource for them and not thinking of them as another lead. So you have the option to do this. It's kind of an old school technique, but we do give you the option as always. And then in the event that you just don't want to auto post at all on anything, you can disable the entire thing, which is kind of neat as well. The last 2 or 3 things I want to show you on this. The first one is your templates. If you notice on your home page, you have a great little bar here that has all of these really, really fabulous social media accounts, like I said, that are the branches of trees. In the event that I wanted to show Sonora Homes for Sale page, I would click, I'd load up the page, I would click the Facebook button, and boom, now I can share this page with everybody on my wall. I can privately send it to somebody. So it's a really great way for brand recognition. It's basically free advertising for you, and you're letting your Facebook group do the work for you, which is really, really slick. Again, with all of these other social share icons, the nice thing about the templates is that we do allow you to adjust how it looks for the site's feel, right? If you're more of a, you're quirky or live somewhere where there's a lot of water, you might want to do a little bubble, not a bubble effect, but a circle for the Facebook account and all the other social media accounts. If it's a classier, more luxury focused niche, this beautiful one here might work for you. So there are some templates that you can choose from. And then finally, there is a settings app option with a ton of really great stuff on here. The first thing, this is going to be your one-stop shop for adding any of your social media accounts directly to your website that appear in the header and the footer, where people can go directly to your tree branch and see what you have to offer in your social media. The cool thing about blogging and all that good stuff is this is a really great opportunity for you to branch out from real estate and show people what you're about. So the more, I guess, eyes into your world, the better off you're going to be with brand recognition and trust. So we recommend that you do set up a lot of these social media accounts and then add your profiles directly in here, and they will automatically add to your site for you. You don't need to worry about waiting for one of us to do it. It's as quick as simple as copying that profile and pasting it in here. The display options for this, this is really cool. The side tab on the left, you can adjust how many times it's been shared. You can have it appear on, the little bar here. You can have it appear on mobile if you want. And then you can also, you can also adjust where you want that bar to be. If you want it on the left-hand side where it's automatically added to, you can do it. If you want it on the top or bottom, or I'm sorry, the bottom, left or right, or if you want it removed altogether, this bar can be moved around on the site quickly and efficiently. The last thing as well is the last 2 things rather, we have an active network section here. So this allows you to adjust what type of social media accounts you want active here that people can share on. I think personally, the more the better, right? You want to be able to have your hand out to everybody. But in the event that you had multiple run-ins with Google Plus that you just don't like, you can remove it from that bar if you wish. It's as simple as turning it on and off. You'll click update and save it. And then, or it will update automatically for you rather. And then the social count allows you to see how many times people have shared this specific page, and there'll be a little counter that pops up. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you do have any questions about it, feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help you. The social share went from literally just this to now being able to auto post on your social media, blogs, pages, searches, anything you want, as well as adjusting a lot more of the count and what you want viewable for people, which is really, really cool.
Once again, just really appreciate you guys being here. My name is Grant, and I'm going to jump into taking you through one last super cool feature. So what we're going to look at now is primarily for if you sometimes chafe at a potential limitation or a way that that our sites are constructed, that you wish you could do something a little different or have a little bit more flexibility. We have recently, and by recently I want to say Monday, rolled in the new editor from WordPress, which is called Gutenberg. And I just want to demonstrate this a little bit. I'm going to let you individually go out and knock yourself out with possibilities here. But our goal always is to kind of split the difference between exposing and offering as much functionality as possible while limiting as many rabbit holes as possible. So anybody that's had a website knows that sometimes you can spend a lot of time working on your website and not really accomplish anything. So with that, I'm going to jump in and we're just going to create a new page here. And I'm going to show you some of the functionality. And like I said, I mean, ultimately, you can knock yourself out with all kinds of functionality possibilities here. but this is just kind of a smattering of how it works, how to navigate around it so that you're able to do that and kind of play with it. So once again, if you're good with everything that we offer, you're good. If you want to create some other things, you can create additional pages and edit content inside them, and that's really what we're showing you here. So for starters, let's take a look at our template option here. So you can see kind of when you hover the template, it kind of tells you full width, has a header, no sidebar, white background. Sidebar, header, and a white background. Sidebar, header, no white background. So it's going to be page background, and then blank template, no header, no white, no sidebar. So this is the full-on whatever you want to do here. From here, you can obviously title this thing. So this is our amazing page. And let's say that we're going to choose, let's just go blank, blank. We also have the ability to choose a featured image here. And what the SEO tool that was on the bottom of pages is now here. So we can see what our focus keyword is. We can see what the SEO title and description are. And then we can see our stats right here. So this is, this is a much more compressed kind of compact version of that same tool, which is killer. So when we come over here, we have a couple of options we can easily just get straight into with a picture, add a heading, or add a gallery. But now when we hover, we see this little plus sign. And if we just click the plus sign, we see this new functionality called blocks. So blocks give us just a ton of possibilities here. And if you're familiar with Visual Composer or Divi or any of those kind of builders, you might recognize just some similarities here. Common blocks, a paragraph, an image, a heading, a gallery, a list, a quote, an audio file, a cover image, or a file. So, I mean, or a video. We also have embeds. And so these are some things, if you've got content elsewhere on the web, this is going to be stunning. The ability to put some Twitter information, a YouTube video, Facebook feed, Instagram feed, SoundCloud if you have audio files, Vimeo or Animoto, great marketing platform there. Some things that are probably not as useful in real estate along the lines here. But platforms like Issue and, the ability to do some, a screencast, a slide share, quite a few options here that may actually apply to you, even TED content. And so just to give you an example of this, if we want to go with YouTube, we can choose that embed. I have a URL that I have saved here. Let me just grab it. So here is, here's our block. We can choose how we want it to be structured, whether we want it to be left, right, not play, or center. So we've got that function, that flexibility. And then you'll see when we go back down here, we have add another block. And so whether we want that to be an image, and we can say upload and actually pull it directly out of our computer, or click media library. We can go back to Pixabay even and grab a photo here. So we can put a photo here, and we can continue to go, right? So we can say, let's put a heading in. So now we're just going to make some soup here that gets out of control. So now our content. And if we keep going, you can see here with text, you can do different types of tags. So this is going to be a little smaller and a little smaller still. We can bold that. If we want to, we can italicize it. We can also link. So if we want to make this content a link, we can do that, or we can strike it through. And if you go down here, you can also go here and say open in a new window. So you can even make this a target blank option. So you see you've got a lot of flexibility with that. Now let's say we go back to here, and a couple of things. One is when you hover over here, you'll actually see that you can move this up and down. So the positioning is all flexible there. When we go back here, we have our little plus sign again. And this time I want to look at a layout element. And in layout elements, let's look at columns. So this is the ability to kind of create a magazine type look. So if we wanted to, put a picture in one of our columns here from our media library, There's always some interesting things getting uploaded to our site here. And let's put this in as a picture. And, let's put a different picture in here. So here we're going to put a block in of an image as well. So you can start to see what is, what's possible in terms of layout and options. And obviously here you can keep going in columns. So if you wanted to stay in columns all the way down, you can do that. Over here under block, you're going to see some different, for instance, here's your alt text for your images. How do you want the image sized? Any specific dimensions, scale it, link settings, and you can put a URL in here. So you've got a lot of flexibility here. When you're done, you can actually choose to publish. Tanarwitz, have you played with this? Does this mean that scheduling was supposed to be a part of this, but I believe we can actually schedule now?
Yeah, that's correct. You can schedule for publication.
Yeah, I haven't even played with I haven't played with this. But for those of you who want to do something, and say like Chris was referencing a game or some specific thing, if you want to write a blog post right now and put it, get it ready to go out in the middle of the championship, you can set that up now. But here, let's just go ahead and say October 3rd, and we're going to publish it. And then let's view our page. And then, like I said, this is why you don't turn me loose with an editor. But the point is that you have nearly complete flexibility in terms of, kind of what happens here. So, yeah, that is Gutenberg, and has some amazing flexibility in it. I am so excited for folks who want to be able to play around more. We have this flexibility. We had this in some cases earlier on, but for a number of technical reasons, we kind of removed it, and we're finally back to it. So, from here, really, your imagination is going to be the driver of what's possible, because there's a lot of flexibility here, and some of you have had specific needs where this would be really helpful, to kind of go with from there. So,
one more thing, while you guys are asking the questions, I did want to screen share one really cool area that seems to get overlooked occasionally, and I get why it is overwhelming, but we do have an education section on the site as well. So in the event that you're working on the weekend, you get stuck on something and support is very limited, you can always click this EDU section, and this is going to get you set up on a help desk that will really, really kind of help you learn some things. There's a lot of visual stuff, a lot of animated GIFs, videos, all kinds of fun stuff. You can connect with us and schedule a conversation. You can schedule a call. There's support sessions. We have classes, all kinds of good stuff. There's a great help center that has things. And the cool thing, I remember Grant was on, if I remember correctly, it was either another webinar or a podcast, and this stuck with me really well. Grant said that, you guys go through all this schooling and all these really difficult tests and the legality of everything. But the one thing that they don't teach you while you're going to school for real estate and diving into that business is how to market yourselves. The cool thing about this is we do have a ton of really great articles that kind of help you ease your way into advertising and marketing yourself digitally, which is really, really neat. So, we have all kinds of little helpful hints here. There's, 12 articles on how to run a Facebook ad, YouTube, ebooks, Twitter. The cool thing too is there is a search bar. So if you're stuck with something very, very specific, like you wanted to know if we had how to create your ebook, right? If I search for ebook, well, the cool thing is we do have free customizable ebooks for you, or we have a nice little guide to help you understand what the steps are needed in order to create your own ebooks as well. So take advantage of the Help Center when you do get an opportunity to. It's great on the weekends. It kind of helps you hit the ground running when it comes to brainstorming on what you want to do with your site.
Awesome. So any other questions that that folks have? I think we'll be back. This will be a recording. We are going to hold a similar session tomorrow for folks who aren't customers, but we really did want to get this out to you first and have an opportunity just to have some of these. As you can see, the questions here are more granular. How do I do this when I do this, or whatever the case is. So we really wanted to give you an opportunity to ask those questions ahead of getting folks in that have more general questions. So we certainly appreciate your help. We do listen. The dev process is very, I spent a lot of time talking with Tyler about next steps and how the product needs to evolve, and your suggestions to me and to the Chris's really get included in the process. And sometimes I'm on a call with someone who asks a great question or says, "Hey, does your product do this?" And I think, that is the absolute dumbest thing that I have to say no. And I immediately initiate a conversation with Tyler and say, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we make it so it works like this?" So, we really want to continue to develop a product that meets your needs and works for you and gives you flexibility without rabbit holes. So, we want to hit that balance as much as we can. So we appreciate all of your feedback and all the information that you provide us. Yeah, once again, we really appreciate your time. Hope you have a great afternoon. Hope you're having a great selling week.
Have a great one, everybody. Thank you again.